Hello, Likers. Welcome back to our channel. It's me, your fave, your one and only, your baby girl, Malika. So, Likers, we are doing a critical review of Mr. Aloy series, When Marriage Becomes a Nightmare, episode 52, part 2. It starts with Debbie still wondering, like, how is it possible that they had fake documents, because the land is Jonathan's land, so that land is supposed to have real documents. So how come the documents that Emeka presented was fake? Because she cannot understand. She knows that Cheta is working for them, so there's no possibility that those documents could be fake. So when they were talking, they heard noise and she stopped. Then she realized that it was Kenny and Jonathan that walked in, so she couldn't say anything anymore. She was just they were, and when they came, they saw Emeka's state. They were kind of confused because he was bruised everywhere, and they just wanted to know what happened. But there was something that happened. Debbie did not let Emeka speak. Debbie spoke on behalf of Emeka. She was too quick to say Emeka got mocked, and all the rest, and he was jumped by some guys as well, who beat him up mercilessly. And Kenny could not understand, like, who will be these people? And to her, she was like, they are strangers. Why would strangers beat you as if they have a personal vendetta with you? It was strange, like, how is that even possible? And even Jonathan could not understand, like, what's going on, but to Kenny, because okay, let's assume that you were robbed, or you were jumped, whatsoever, you were mocked or whatsoever. Sure, the first thing you're supposed to do was to go to the police station, but it was somehow, because Debbie was so fast to be like, no police, because why would they spend money to go and report to the police when they know very well that the police will not be able, to do anything, and all the rest. Like, how is that possible? She was so quick to be on the defensive. Emeka was just sitting looking. She was the one to speak. Like, she was acting like Emeka's wife or anything. Emeka just slept there, was just watching the whole scenario, you know. And Kenny was even trying to show that, look at how he looks like. Those people have to pay. But her excuse was justified though, because to her it was more like, you go and waste money to this police now. They'll take the money, they will not be able to do the job. So what's the essence? And it makes sense that time. But now Emeka was able to speak and to make them understand that it's okay, he's fine, he'll be okay. There's no need for police station, there's no need for them to bring anything. So the next thing shows Clara, I say Clara, Debbie, that was with the maker. Debbie went to verify those documents, and she found out herself that those documents were fake, and they are like 75% convinced that Cheta is playing games, and it is not funny, because it is one thing to dupe somebody, and it's another thing to get duped by your own business partner, to be double crossed. It is not a good feeling, because in as much as they are criminals, they have their criminal code, so Jonathan and Emeka and Debbie are not finding it funny, because to Emeka it's more like he cannot be the master planner, he cannot be the master of this game, that he will bring somebody inside like Jetta, and it happens. But the truth is, in most cases like this, if that person inside is not loyal, because the person inside is the one that holds everything, if they are not loyal, they turn out to be like this. But now Jetta is effing with the wrong people, because these people will eff her up for real, because to Debbie, she's like, she better not like scam them and still be in Lagos, because it's not going to be funny. And now they know that definitely she will try to run away. If she scams them, she will try to run away. So they are better acts now. And seeing Emeka in the hospital is not fixing things. So Emeka now needs to leave the hospital, because to him it is slowing him down. So the next thing shows Kenny has noticed something, the dynamics that exists between Emeka and Debbie. But we all know our Mugu, Jonathan will not notice stuff like that, because to Jonathan, to him, um Kenny is always very suspicious, and to him, Kenny is not somebody that you should pay attention to, because Kenny is always, looking for trouble where there's no trouble. But Kenny is a man that sees far, because Kenny is trying to put one on one. To him, is trying to understand, why would a hospital see Debbie's phone number in Emeka's phone, whereas they are the ones that are close to Emeka. There's two things here. It's either Debbie was the last person Emeka called, or Emeka is frequently calling Debbie, or they are frequently exchanging. But we know that once a Mugu, always a Mugu. Jonathan does not see anything in it. Like, he does not even understand what Kenny is trying to say. Or they are thinking that if Debbie and Emeka were dating, they would have known, they would have heard something. But being that they are friends, they have not heard anything. It's obvious that they are not dating. So what could they be doing together? And that was when Kenny also came up with the idea that Debbie was Clara's best friend. Jonathan is Emeka's best friend. So what could their two best friends, ex's best friend, be doing together that close? There is something. But we all know that Emeka does not think out of the box. Emeka is always like, he's like a child. He cannot think for himself. People have to feed him. People have to feed his thoughts, for him to get something. So Emeka right now does not comprehend, like he cannot. But Kenny knows that something is wrong. And for Emeka now, Kenny is just be overly being like suspicious for no good reason. Like, to him, it's more like, why on earth would Kenny even have such thoughts when their friend is at the hospital? Kenny is not supposed to think like that, because, like, why would he even feel like Emeka and Debbie could be up to something no good, or maybe something illegal? But this is somebody who is telling you the truth. But Jonathan is being Jonathan. He cannot even see more than his forehead. Yes, he cannot see past his forehead. It's not possible. And now he's making Kenny to look like Kenny is just being a fool and all the rest. So the next thing shows Emeka drinking water, and he's very pissed because he's trying to put things together, because to them, Jetta has changed, based on the fact that Jonathan made a statement that Jetta has changed, and Emeka realized that the only reason why Jetta would change like this will be because Jetta has money in her possession. So there's a probability that Jetta must have sold those two properties, and that's why she gave them the fake documents and kept the real ones. And that if that is what she has done, you definitely, stuff like that, there is only just two chances you get. Number one, or just two options. Number one, to either share the money equally the way it was supposed to be shared, or number two, everybody lose everything. Yes, that's how it works normally. So, and Emeka also applied that same method, because to him it's more like, I cannot do this. I cannot just sit and say that I'm going to not do anything. I will leave the hospital, because that hospital alone is blocking him. Because right now, at this point, they know that Jetta is up to no good. Jetta has double crossed them. That's why Jetta has avoided, because apparently Jetta is avoiding them. She's not picking their calls, and she's not calling them, and she has not been at the hospital to see Emeka, whereas she's aware that Emeka had an accident. So the doctor walked in on them, to check on Emeka how he was. But Emeka at this point wants to leave, because Emeka has pressing business to take care of. Emeka is scared that if he stays at home, at the hospital for so long, Jetta could vanish with his money. What money? How is it your money? How do you explain that it is your money, for crying out loud? But the doctor wants him to sign an undertaking because yes, you cannot leave the hospital like that. If anything happens to your hospital can be sued. Whereas the doctor wants him to sign an undertaking, stating that if anything happens to him while he leaves the hospital, he's on his own eventually, because him, the doctor, like they ask him to stay, he refused. So eventually he will be on his own, you know. But at this point, Emeka is ready because Emeka needs to go. He cannot stand, he cannot wait to be home because he needs to sort Jetta out. Because already he knows that Jetta is up to no good. Yes, both of them are already aware. So the next thing shows Jonathan that is complaining to Kenny about his wife, Jetta, telling him how Jetta has changed, stuff like that. That Jetta is behaving funny, and it is not funny at all because to him, it's more like you know, Jetta was never like that. But we all know that Kenny never liked Jetta for once because Kenny could see through her, in as much as he didn't know what was really up to, but he could see through her. So Kenny definitely made him understand that if I were you, I would let that woman go now, you know. But Jonathan cannot do that because, like, they have business together. So how can she want Jetta to leave? If Jetta leaves, who is going to take care of those businesses? That's another thing, because Jonathan went into business with Jetta without even informing his friend Kenny, without even telling Kenny the situation, And now Kenny is like, the problem is that Kenny is making Jonathan to understand that if anything happens to him, it will be his fault, if anything happens, it will be his fault because to Kenny, it's either he ends the relationship now, or if he continues like that, the worst would happen and he's going to regret it for the rest of his life. But we all know how stubborn Jonathan is. And right now, he's up to the neck because now, if Jetta have to go, those goods in China, how would he know? Because he left everything in her hand. That is why they said some men, that's why I used to tell people, do not compromise. A marriage that is yours, you really see, that this is mine. Because you see, look at Jonathan is willing to give everything to Jetta, but he wasn't willing to do the same with his wife. So the next thing shows Jetta laying on the sitting room on a couch with another guy, and Jonathan walked in, you know and it was crazy for him to see. He couldn't believe it. If you see the scream that he put out, it woke Jetta from sleep, But now you said, that this was a plan, and Jonathan does not understand that Jetta is doing everything for him to chase her away. This is a plan because she did not even feel remorseful. She did not even hide it, and now she's wondering why would Jonathan, want to chase her guy. And the guy also wants to, like, is asking why Jonathan wants to, like, lay his hand on his woman. And you see, eventually they'll fight. But now will Jonathan be able to pursue Jetta? Because that is what if you see Jetta's action, you realize that those are the things that Jetta is looking for. She wants pack and leave my house, knowing fully well that the house have been sold, the land sold. I don't understand, why would she still be there? Why won't she leave? Now that she has taken everything, just leave them alone already, so that they can lick their wounds. So the guy, normally we know that Jonathan is a toothless bulldog. He can talk, he can bark, but he cannot bite, And the guy beats him like severely, punch him in the eye even, squeeze him very well like an orange, like you could hear Jonathan's crying, screaming on the floor, calling, begging for Jetta for help, whereas Jetta was there being the commentator, you know, announcing the fight as if it was a wrestling it was a wrestling match. Oh my God, please let a man not be this weak. Jetta was happy that her husband was being beaten up. It's crazy. So the next thing shows Jonathan and Kenny is asked. Jonathan came to complain to Kenny about the situation, and Kenny was shocked. Like, he wanted to understand, like, if Jonathan really ate something, because he could not. He was in disbelief that how is it even possible, that this woman will bring a man into your house, because he was trying to understand that the same Clara that you people accuse, your friend accused how Clara was sleeping around, realized it was not true. You were so fast to push Clara out of your house. So how come Jetta is still there? This guy had to open up. It was about the business, like I earlier said, that they have a lot of business together. So him making Jetta to leave, eventually will cause a lot of problems for him. It will make him not being able, to succeed. Like it will make him like to fail, and Jetta will have own everything. It will, like, he cannot, because Jetta is the one who knows everything, and he spoke about the house document, the landed property, everything, the business, the import, the importation that they were making from China. Like, even Kenny was crazy, and he got angry that Kenny was saying those things to him. He wanted Kenny to caress his ego, because to him, he's telling Kenny cannot give him solution. Kenny is instead, insulting him. He said, Jonathan, Emeka is always giving him solution, but I don't know why you cannot go to Emeka to give you the solution that he's always giving you. Kenny is being real. You don't like it because you want somebody that's fake. This is crazy, like us. And the funniest thing is that there are people like this, you know, people that will do things to us like this, and they'll expect us to, not they'll do things. They'll expect you to caress their ego, to tell them that it's okay, don't worry. Now Kenny is being honest. Kenny is being brutal with his honesty, and to him, it's too much. Like, how can you carry the house of a document, give it to a woman to go and take a loan? Kenny just told me she will sell everything. That if I were you, I'll go and squeeze her to make sure that the little that is left with her, I should recuperate it before it's too late. It's already too late, Kenny. It is, this guy is gone, and it serves him right. It is the best thing that could happen to him. So, like, as we are going to end this video, honestly speaking, when a man is this dumb or a woman is this dumb, it is good for them, because you cannot be this dumb for you to hand everything to somebody. They'll always take advantage. Yes, once upon a time I handed my business like that to a friend, who took advantage. She used my capital to go and do her uncle's funeral with. You see? So people have to be very careful. People have to be very careful, honestly speaking, with the people they surround themselves with. Guys, protect your mental health, because mental health problem is real. Protect it. Don't let people take advantage of you. Okay? So I have to end this video. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. And on this note, I have to say